Hey everyone, Web3 has a big problem. User experience. I think we can all agree with that. All of us here have probably got past our first wallet, but I think 99% of the population haven't quite. And I want to ask you a quick question just before I proceed with my presentation on building AI agents on Hedera. Can AI agents fix that? We'll find out. So just want to quickly say, this can be quite interactive. I'm just put up on my screen, that's my Twitter. I'm not telling you to follow me, more than welcome to. If you have a look at the pinned tweet on my Twitter account, or you scan that QR code, you'll get taken to a Google Doc which contains information as to how you can set up the relevant tools and agent SDKs that we're going to be using. So I'll leave that on here just for the time being. While people scan it for later or have a look at my Twitter and get it up on your laptop. On it, you'll find instructions how you can interact and run the Git pod for our ELIZA plugin, ELIZA being a very common AI agent framework, and also how you can set up our Hedera agent kit and LangChain integrations. Cool. Before I just continue and talk more about the agents, I'll give a very brief background as to LLMs and what they are. I'm going to assume a lot of people are using them regularly, but on a very high level, neural networks trained on loads and loads of data. You give it a prompt, it basically predicts what's going to come after that. It generates, whether it be text or images or other media forms, based on the probability of all of the feed data it's taken in that big training phase. And AI agents. What are AI agents? Well, they basically use large language models alongside tools or actions which are deterministic pieces of code that an AI agent understands. It knows, okay, I've got this function over here. It might be a JavaScript function or a Python function. I've got this function. I know what that function does. Maybe it creates a token, and it knows the arguments and the required data to execute that function. If you haven't already noticed, these images are all generated by AI. So unfortunately, our agents or any agent, they don't have ABAPI quills or database quegies, but they do have API calls and database queries as well. So I thought that was quite funny. And yeah, maybe not the best at generating text on images yet. All right, so what do we have on Hedera? Well, we've got our Hedera Agent Kit SDK. This is essentially a JavaScript TypeScript class which aggregates all sorts of different functionality on Hedera. It's relatively opinionated, but the beauty of this is you can just use this and integrate it with any sort of existing AI agent framework. We've done that with our ELIZA plugin. I'm going to be showing that today. If you scan the QR codes earlier, you'll also be able to follow along. And also our Hedera LangChain/LangGraph agents. All of those are essentially using the Hedera agent kit. But if you're wanting to build maybe a autogen agent, you could use the Hedera agent kit and leverage that. Also, before I quickly go to actual like a live coding demo where we can see these agents in action, we do have 3 bounties this year. Top one, AI agents, $25,000. That's split over the top 4, so the winner gets $15,000. And we've got EVM stuff as well, Explorers for those of you who are sort of getting into Hedera. But that's a perfect time to sort of leverage some of these tools. You can maybe build a dApp which integrates them. I mean, but also it doesn't need to be with agents, or you can actually contribute to our open source SDKs. All of that information is on this Google Doc. I'll quickly share that Google Doc. So if you go, again, on my Twitter, that pin tweet, AI agents on Hedera, as well as it's got setup guides. I've already started the setup, so I'm going to show you how to run the Git pod environment for our ELIZA plugin, and then also we can test out our LangChain, LangGraph agent. Let's start off with our Hedera agent kit. Now, we do have that might need to be lowercase. We do have an open API kit or a router API kit which you can use. So be quick and sort of, there's not loads of credits, but if you want to test it out, you can do that. I'm going to start plugging it into our Git pod environment. If you want to follow along, click on that open Git pod. It will start setting up in the background. By now, mine should already be installed and it's been built. All I need to do is just pass in my API key. So I'll allow that. And then I need to go to my Hedera account ID. So I can find that actually on the Hedera portal, which if you go over here, let's click on that. Go to the Hedera portal. You can create your own account over here. We'll use this account of mine. With the Hedera portal, you get 1,000 HBAR, testnet HBAR every day, which is more than enough for basically anyone, unless you're really stress testing the network. And I'm going to get the private key as well. And this is a ED25519 key. You can, of course, use ECDSA key. So just for you EVM builders here, if you do have an existing MetaMask wallet, you can use those exact credentials over here. ED25519. Cool. So that's now set it up. It should automatically start starting the application and also running the front-end client. I'm just going to be doing a few demos, just showing the user interface, which comes out sort of out of the box, and we can start playing around with it. But of course, if you're familiar with it, has anyone here used ELIZA, actually? I guess I can gauge how deep to go in. Use ELIZA over there. Anyone else heard of it? No? Okay. Heard of it? Cool. Right, well, I'll give a quick TLDR on ELIZA. Pretty exciting framework, open source framework for building LLMs. Very popular in the Web3 space. Not so much sort of in the Web2 audience. But it's pretty cool because they've got really nice integrations into things like Twitter or X or Discord, Telegram. So you can have your AI agent almost being like a social agent, having its own personality, its own character file, as well as other plugins like the Hedera plugin, which would allow it to potentially create tokens, send tokens, trade, whatever sort of, whatever your mind can think of. Before I go into that, I'll show you broadly what the ELIZA structure is. So I've got these character files over here. We're currently using this Hedera character JSON. It's sort of specified for the Hedera functions, but there are also other character files that you can use. This gives your agent its personality. So yeah, we'll be using this one, which is sort of optimized for Hedera. You can also see plugins and import different types of plugins. You can have EVM plugin, you can have non-crypto plugins, but we'll start chatting with it. So this is the client which gets spun up. You don't need to build agents using this. Let's just make sure it works. Hello. Moment of truth. Hey, good stuff. Cool. Well, let's show some of the functionality that it has. And our plugin is pretty extensive because it leverages that base Hedera Agent Kit class. So if we go over to our plugin, you can find that inside of this directory, Hedera plugin ELIZA, and you can see inside of the actions all of the functionalities that we have. So these are the actions, which is importing from that base Hedera agent class, making it really easy to integrate with frameworks like ELIZA. And these are all of the tools or the actions which the AI agent understands. And sort of if we have a look at any one of these actions, we'll see it comes with a qualitative description. It comes with examples as to potential prompts that might be used to trigger it. And let's have a look at there should be a description here. It associates the provided token with a given account. This is what the AI agent uses to determine which function do I need to call. So we can say, hey, create a token for me called ETHDenver. And we could say with a symbol, that there are a few minimum requirements that you need. So we need a symbol, ETHD, and also with an initial supply of however many that is, and 2 decimals. So this qualitative prompt, the AI agent will be understanding this and going, okay, this guy wants to create a token. Hang on, I've got a function which allows creation of tokens. And as you can see, we've created this token. Back to my point on the easier UX, potentially making it easier for people to interact with stuff that typically might have a bit of a learning curve, maybe needs to be a developer. And we can see on HashScan, which is the block explorer for Hedera, that token which has been created. Nice user interface, which one of our friends, Ali, at the back has really been leading on. So shout out to Ali. But it's a really nice new user interface, and I'll stick with dark mode. Cool, so that's sort of creating a token. We could also transfer that token just by doing a similar sort of prompt. But I also want to share the LangChain agent, which doesn't have some of the features which the ELIZA agent has. It's sort of less aimed for a Web3 social environment. It doesn't have immediate integrations to platforms like X. but it does have other benefits, like plugging in really well to the LangChain library. LangChain is definitely the first LLM framework or sort of tool set which I was familiar with. It's been around for a good couple of years now, and definitely on the enterprise and in the Web 2 world, LangChain is really leading the way. So we can also let's also play around with the LangChain agent. I've cloned the repo. These instructions are on this part over here, test LangChain / LangGraph agent. I've cloned it, npm installed, I've done my whole environment setup. Let's go for the test, and what this does is it pulls up just a CLI chatbot where we can also hang around and start interacting with it. Now, I'm showing you a very, very superficial overview as to what you can do, but as I sort of mentioned earlier, these are the total depth of functions that you can have. We've also had a really happy about this. One of you guys yesterday came along, we were talking about it, and they did a pull request last night for support with one of our leading decentralized exchanges. So big thanks to Kamal who did that. And I want to echo what I said earlier. If you're contributing to our SDKs and you want to apply for one of these AI agent bounties, this is valid because it's AI. So if that's something which you're interested in, if you've got your own little project, you need some extra plugins, you can sort of double up, and I think that would be a really great look. Okay, back to our agent kit. So we've now got the option to go autonomous mode or chat. I'm just going to do chat because it's a bit safer. And again, we can sort of be really quite flexible here. We can say, hey, let's create another token, create a token called test with the same symbol and that many initial supply. Yeah, we do incorrect spelling mistakes. AI is pretty clever now. There we go. You can actually also do this in other languages as well, because again, these sort of GPT-4o models are pretty decent. So you can even do this. And again, back to my earlier point on user experience, having that interface where you can actually interact with it in multiple different languages could also be a value add for any use cases which you're looking to build. So it's now created it. Let's do some examples of airdrops. I've got my wallet over here. Let's go. This is a different account, so I'll airdrop it to this account. Airdrop that token to this account. Oh, 29, yeah, 29. Send them 500 of them. I'll send 500, 5,000. So that's done it. It's obviously remembered within that sort of context memory that, okay, that token is the one which we previously created. And then we can also do things, I guess let's try out the query, get hbar balance query. So get the balance of that account that I just dropped. I just airdropped. So again, it's sort of, it's contextualizing it within that whole, with that whole sort of short-term memory, and the account of that account is a balance of 5,000 test tokens. Okay, cool. So it's actually done that. I mean, we can also specify, get the hbar balance of it. And that should be also supported. Balance 426, balance 426. There we go. So this is really just a very high-level overview as to how you can sort of set it up. Obviously, we do have that AI agent, the AI agent bounty, where if you're using one of these tools, that's great. Don't have to use these tools. You can look at stuff AI Providence, but this is really exciting because we've been working pretty hard on getting these open sourced and out on the market ready for you people to use. So I wanted to give a really quick overview just as to how you can set it up. This doc is almost that golden source of truth, and you can set up the ELIZA plugin, try it out on Gitpod, then start implementing it with your relevant specific use case, looking at where it plugs in with other functions, with other actions, and maybe having it on X. Maybe you want to have it where it's sort of creating tokens, transferring tokens, trading them. I've got a few minutes left. I mean, I can keep on prompting it and pushing the boundaries, but I mean, if anyone has any questions, now's also a good time. Happy to answer them up here. And or maybe we can push it to the limit. You test me with some prompts to try out, and we'll see how robust it is. But over to anyone who's got any questions.
This might be like pushing its functionality, but I was curious if you could like extend it to do like maybe like a Uniswap or something.
That's a really, so that sort of ties in to that pull request, which one of these absolute legends did yesterday. He's definitely in the Hedera good books. He's integrated it with SaucerSwap, which is essentially the Uniswap equivalent. But yeah, you can do that. I mean, and again, honing back to that rhetorical question, which I said at the beginning, can AI agents make the user experience for consumers, people who don't really have the best understanding of DeFi, all of the concepts, or maybe even just sort of wallet management? You could even do stuff to the extent of, okay, I have X amount of HBAR, ETH, whatever that token is. I've got a high risk tolerance. Find out for me what a good strategy is. And then you can have an AI agent which goes, right, okay, there's a plugin to scan all of the yields of a particular decentralized exchange, or potentially the borrowing and lending rates of a particular exchange, and then go through that end-to-end process of, right, you've got your HBAR, swap it for another token, and then provide liquidity to a particular token pair, and tell that all to the user. You could do a user sort of human-in-the-loop approach. That's what LangChain's really good at. LangChain's got some nice functionalities where you can sort of get the LLM to get to a certain point, and then it goes, right, stop, user, do you want to continue? Yes, no. That's pretty nice for some of these more riskier use cases, or you can sort of go YOLO mode, just do it for me. These are all things which, I mean, potential ideas for you guys. Building user interfaces for this is definitely a great use case where AI agents can really shine. So yeah, hopefully that answered it. I'll leave the floor open because that was a good question. Hopefully we can get a follow-up as good or better. Oh, I love it, love it. Bro, ask away, man. Ask away.
Just a question.
Bro, I love questions.
Lots of them. You said that it has LangGraph implementation.
Yeah.
Do you have like the base flow that we would be extending off of?
Yes.
Or
yes.
So that can be seen. Is that like you have that graph?
Yeah. So LangGraph is LangChain started like a couple years ago. It was mainly good for things like RAG and just creating these pipelines. But obviously, AI has developed quite a lot since then. So they then had LangGraph, which I believe is specifically for agents. Don't hold me to that. But agents is definitely one of the core offerings of it. And as you can see, so what we're basically doing is similar to ELIZA and similar to any framework. You have your deterministic function, which here is using the Hedera agent kit. We've got this create FT method that can take these object sort of parameters. Some of them are required, some of them are not required. But all that we do is you extend the LangChain-based tool. You can then create your own plugin. I mean, it's so easy. It's just like mind-boggling. You give it a qualitative description. This is what LLMs understand. And then you can use this. We've got an example implementation in that test script. So over here, we're importing currently all of the tools that we have support for. That's just in this helper method. That returns an array of the tools. You can be more selective. This maybe all of these tools, if we go to that. So let's go to, not that one, create Hedera tools. So currently, these are the tools that we have supported with LangChain. We've also got consensus service support. It's not yet been integrated here, but by tomorrow it will be. And you don't need to use all of these. For your use case, maybe you just want to have a create fungible token. Maybe you just want to have a create fungible token and transfer or airdrop. And that would, of course, make the model a bit safer. I've only got 20 seconds. That will make the model a bit more likely to execute the correct thing because there's less, almost entropy, less room for error, and also slightly cheaper because that token price will be reduced. Okay, 8 seconds. I'm going to show you how you do this. So you've got the stuff over there. You import the list of tools that you want, and then you just use this create React agent that's coming out of LangGraph, and then you go, let's go, time's out. Hopefully they let me on for a bit longer. Over here, you pass in the LLM you want. That can be any LLM, and then you pass in that tools array, and that's how it has access to it, plus message modifier. Cool, that's me. Hope everyone enjoyed that, and hope you're also building AI agents.